What's going on YouTube? This is Lucas here. Thanks so much for checking out my video and welcome. Today we're going to be doing a tone comparison between two different sets of pickups in this beautiful Mayones Regius 7-string guitar. Right now we have bare knuckle silos and we're going to be swapping them out with bare knuckle Ragnaroks. The purpose of this video is to mainly do a tone comparison test, and I wanted to find out how much of a difference it actually makes to change pickups. I really like the silos. I think they sound great, but I think I could find a more distinctive voice for this guitar, and I wanted to try higher output, more aggressive pickups and see what they sound like. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about the sounds. I always felt like pickup comparison videos were pretty unhelpful, so this one's going to be very comprehensive, and we're going to be doing all kinds of tones: clean, edge of breakup tones, crunch, high gain metalcore type sounds, high gain modern metal leads, and also DI tracks. We're also going to be looking at the spectrum analyzer in the session, so we'll be able to see what frequencies are being emphasized in all the different tones and with both different sets of pickups. And then as far as my setup and just some of the specs on the guitar, so this is a neck through swamp ash guitar with a multi-ply neck construction. We have a maple top, ebony fingerboard, stainless steel frets, hipshot hardware, and a Graphtec nut. This is a three-way switch here. We're only going to be doing humbucker tones for this video. So this is just plugged in directly to my Axe-Fx. If you're interested in some more information about the specific Axe-Fx patches, I have another video that goes into more detail about that, and I'll put the link in the description for that if you're interested, but we're not going to really get too far into that. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is just there's a couple limitations as far as like doing a perfect comparison. So one thing that I should mention is that these Ragnaroks, I actually got them uncovered, and these silos are covered. I'm sorry about that, but getting them uncovered was a bit cheaper, and I also wanted to see if I could retain some more brightness with uncovered pickups, because I know having covers makes it a little darker. So it's not going to be a perfect comparison in that respect. The other thing is that the strings, I'm going to try to use the same set of strings, so it's not going to be filmed on the same exact day, so the strings might be a little older. And the pickup heights, I'm going to be adjusting by ear to find the sweet spot, so they won't be exactly the same. So those are just a couple things that might kind of make the comparison like not 100% perfect. And I just wanted to give a big thank you, shout out to my friend Ben Torres, who's been kind enough to help me do the electronics work and solder these. So I really appreciate that. Anyway, we'll get into it right now. Thanks. All right, so the first thing I'm going to address is a major issue that came up with the comparison videos. So the gain staging was actually messed up. I really underestimated how much more output the Ragnaroks were going to have. So I apologize for the clipping. The clipping was actually the master channel in Ableton. So once the guitar tracks were stacked up, they were clipping a little bit. I did not change any of the gain levels on any of the audio in Ableton because I wanted to keep it in exact comparison with gain and everything. But I will attach the link to the stems if you want to download them and mess with that, so you can change the levels and level them out a little bit and see if you can hear that much of a tone difference. So that was one huge thing that came up that I realized was a mistake on my end. I should have recorded pretty much everything at a lower volume. As far as tone is concerned, to my ears, the Ragnaroks are fairly similar to the silos, but they're just amped up quite a bit. So they're much louder, and the neck pickup seems to have much more beef to it. I think both pickups have the low mid emphasis on at slightly different frequencies. So I think it's a little bit higher on the Ragnaroks than the silos. The silos had something kind of muddy to my ears going on in the mid range that I didn't like. The Ragnaroks definitely have really beefy low end and low mids for sure, but the voicing is just slightly different. The Ragnaroks to me have a little bit more high mids or some kind of bite slash clarity element to them that I thought sounds like it cuts through, especially in metal. So that was a huge plus for me, but it might also just be that the output's higher. They just feel like they sustain more. They feel a little bit like they're fun to play, kind of like active pickups, super liquidy and nice, but without that kind of fatiguing tone, that like cold, sterile tone. So they're really fun to play. They're really nice, and I think I'm pretty happy with the switch. I was actually really surprised. So I did not think changing pickups would make that big of a difference. Some of it might have just been because of the output. So the hotter pickups, the Ragnaroks obviously hit the amps harder, so that leads to more sustain and more, overdrive and breakup and stuff like that. But just generally speaking, the silos sounded a little bit more congested and muddy, I would say, and darker. And I thought that the Ragnaroks really made the guitar come to life a little bit more, in my opinion, and they just seem to be more fun to play. Again, this all might have just been because of the higher output situation, but it just feels like it sustains more now, and I can hear more clarity in the playing, and just generally it's more fun to play the guitar. So I'm pretty happy about that switch. I would recommend going with uncovered pickups if you have any concern about losing brightness and stuff, especially with high output stuff, but these look super cool, so I'm gonna miss them. So, like I mentioned, you could download the stems if you want to mess with that and really listen to it on your system. I think that'll be super cool. So, I'll put the link to that. It may ask you to sign in, but it's all free. You just download the zip file, and it's wave stems. There's no processing whatsoever in any of that. So, I would say my consensus is that I'm really happy with the Ragnaroks on this guitar for now. We actually added a push pull, so that's going to be a really cool development. I'm probably going to be up all night recording, so that's going to be exciting. I've already written some riffs on this thing, so I feel a little bit more inspired on it, so I'm super happy. Thanks for watching this, and let me know what you guys think about the tone. I'll catch you guys in a bit.